So this was the sort of original inspiration for the track. It's a filtered loop. So we've got a filter on it. If I take that off, not doing that much, but we just like the sort of warm tones and the rhythmic bleeping sort of sound. It's just sort of quite hypnotic in a way, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. And it's got a kind of inherent rhythm in it, but it's also quite emotional in a way.
Yeah, and I think throughout the track we've got it obviously changes changes pitch to give us a bit of a chord progression.
So starting with this, then obviously you start building on top of it.
So the next part is a piano part that we had, which
it's got a delay on as well as a distortion.
Yeah, so if I play the original, so that's what we've ended up with. So we've got this plugin called Isotope Trash 2, which is quite a nice distortion, but it has multi-effects in it and all sorts of there's a convolution thing which obviously changes the sound quite a lot, and a delay. So if I take the plug-in, the original part's sort of fairly simple. It was amazing with that sort of 16th echo, you get that sort of really nice. And this was parts that Bob played in originally via the keyboard, and then we added more and more different aspects to this, so they're all bouncing off one another, but playing them with the effect on, so you can sort of feel and work off the effect as you're playing. So, and I think that goes on, and this track is quite complex, and it's got this loop going all the way through, and then another one that comes in that gives you the sense that the chords are moving, and then later on there's another part that comes in to add more momentum. If I solo that part, bring my mixer across, so the plugin has Isotope Trash here. So we're actually using the distortion part of it. I'm not using the convolution part, which adds a sound based on an inputted sound and gives you an overall effect, is added, and it just has a whole list of different things. This one's light bell, and there's a filter on it that's doing as a little dip, because a lot of the time lots of plugins have their own presets, and we'll sort of flick through and happen upon something that we like, and we might fiddle around with it slightly if it doesn't do exactly what we want, but using presets is a great way of getting a sort of an inspiration as well.
Definitely.
A lot of the time you can't conceptualize what exactly you want until you hear it, so the presets are a really good way of doing that.
And conversely, you would never be able to imagine some of these sounds, because they affect the sound so much that it's almost like a trial and error. We kind of, like we were saying earlier, we only ever present the finished product, but often you can be sort of here for hours and hours flicking through different things and thinking, does that work, does that not work? It might sound really good, and then when you put it with the other part of the track, it makes the other part of the track sound not quite so good, and then you have to modify that again, and it kind of eventually you sort of get to a point where you getting everything to fit together in a way that you think works really well.
And then we had this bass, I think we touched upon that earlier, but which is basically a very silent it was coming in, which again is a sample, but that was played in, so Bob played the part in. If I bring that, so this is a Contact player, well it's actually Contact 6 now, so it's just one of the ones that comes with the complete set. So it's Scarby bass, which is quite a nice sort of real sounding bass, and in this instance seems to work quite nicely as underpinning the whole track, doesn't it? It's quite a warm,
definitely
flowing sort of sound.